Welcome back to SwitchTop. Today we're going through 20 of Nintendo Switch's hidden gems, from new releases to stuff you probably scrolled past without a second look. Let's get into it. Elementallis. You play as a young apprentice elementalist who, in a moment that changes everything, accidentally causes a catastrophe that throws the world's elemental forces into chaos. Your parents were powerful mages, and the aftermath of what they did set everything in motion. Now, it's on you to clean it up. The world is divided into 8 unique biomes, each tied to a different element, and every temple you conquer unlocks a new power, like fire, electricity, water, and more. Those elements aren't just combat tools. You're using them to solve puzzles, burn obstacles, freeze enemies, and unlock paths you couldn't reach before. The real-time combat mixes classic sword and shield action with elemental spells, and you can combine elements to exploit weaknesses. It's not the deepest story ever told, but the atmosphere and sense of exploration are genuine. It feels like a forgotten SNES adventure rediscovered. Neva is from Nomada's studio, the team behind Grease, and it carries that same gorgeous, hand-painted aesthetic, but adds something the studio never had before: real combat. You play as Alba, a swordswoman who ends up bonding with a wolf cub named Neva after a devastating encounter with shadow creatures. The two of them travel through a world getting slowly devoured by a dark corruption, with no dialogue, just music, animation, and pure visual storytelling doing all the heavy lifting. As the seasons change, so does Neva. She starts as a timid little pup you worry about every time a fight breaks out, and gradually grows into a fierce wolf who can charge at enemies, tear them apart, and even carry you across gaps. The platforming is tight and builds on itself chapter by chapter, and there are 2 difficulty options, so it's accessible no matter your skill level. Quartet is a throwback JRPG that genuinely feels like something that fell out of the SNES era and landed in 2026. You start by picking one of 4 separate stories to play through in any order you want. A shopgirl who discovers she has magic powers through a mysterious deck of cards, a mage chosen for her gift under extraordinary circumstances, a soldier caught up in an airship war, and an unlikely hero who manifests tremendous power by accident. Each story takes a couple hours, and once you've played through them all, the whole cast of 8 characters comes together and the real plot kicks in a centuries-old conflict that literally reshaped the world. The turn-based combat is clean and clever. You run 4 characters on the front line with 4 in reserve, and the key mechanic is swapping reserve characters in because they immediately take their turn and regenerate AP faster while waiting. CrossCode. The concept alone should sell you. You play as Leah, an avatar stuck inside a futuristic MMO called Crossworlds, set on a real alien planet. The people playing it are logged in from Earth, but you, Leah, have somehow lost her memories and can only say a handful of words. Your goal is to play through the game itself to recover who you are and why this happened. It creates this game-within-a-game feeling that's constantly fascinating to pick apart. The gameplay is a 16-bit action RPG with incredibly smooth combat. You throw energy orbs, switch between 4 elements, chain upgrades on a massive skill tree, and bash through some of the most creative puzzle dungeons you'll find anywhere. The dungeon puzzles get seriously complex later on, using your elemental abilities in ways that demand real thinking. Mark of the Ninja Remastered. You're a ninja whose body has been tattooed with a legendary ink that gives him incredible power, but slowly costs him his mind. A mercenary force invades your clan's village, and you're sent to deal with them the only way ninjas do. Every level is a puzzle. Guards have vision cones and hearing ranges shown on screen in real time, so you always know exactly what they can detect. You move through light and shadow, crawl through vents, hang from chains, scale walls, lure guards with thrown objects, and take them out silently or terrify surviving enemies to cause panic. There's a point system that rewards ghost runs, but combat is always an option. As you collect scrolls and earn honor points, you unlock new tools and abilities. The hand-drawn art style is stunning, the animations are fluid, and the whole thing has aged so well it's almost offensive. Guacamelee 2 picks up 7 years after the first game. Juan, the luchador hero who saved the Mexiverse, is now married, with kids, and definitely out of shape. A new villain called Salvador threatens to reach the sacred guacamole and unravel the entire Mexiverse across different timelines. So, Juan puts the mask back on. The gameplay is a Metroidvania where exploration and combat are equally important and equally impressive. Juan throws punches, slams enemies into the ground, juggles them in the air, headbutts them through walls, and gradually unlocks a moveset that makes the whole thing feel like a combo-heavy fighter. New here is the Mexiverse mechanic. You jump between parallel timelines where the same area looks completely different, with different platforms, obstacles, and enemies on each side. There's also a fully expanded chicken form that lets Juan fight and dash through tiny spaces. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. You play as Pipit, a young bat with big dreams of being a yo-yo master. He visits his aunt, powerful owner of Pipistrello Industries, just in time to witness a gang led by a wisecracking rat named Don Moretti break in and try to steal her soul. Pipit's yo-yo intercepts the attack, and now his aunt is literally trapped inside it, while her soul fragments are scattered across New Jolt City. The yo-yo is your main weapon and tool. You throw it to attack, solve puzzles, activate switches, and unlock new abilities as you go. It's a GBA-styled top-down Metroidvania with tight Zelda-like dungeon design, and the city is massive, with underground sewers, shops, police stations, and lively streets all interconnected. Boss fights are multi-phase and creative. One fight uses the arena's own pinball mechanics against you. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, a 2D action platformer made by Blasphemous developer The Game Kitchen, quietly became one of the best games in the franchise. The story runs parallel to the 1988 NES original. While Ryu Hayabusa is off in America, trainee Kenji Mozu is left defending the village from a demonic invasion tied to a fiend virus spreading across Japan. Kenji crosses paths with Komori, a kunoichi from the rival Black Spider clan, and the two end up fusing their souls together. That fusion is the core mechanic. Kenji handles close-range sword combat, Komori handles projectiles and platforming, and the game constantly splits and reunites them to make use of both skill sets. The guillotine boost lets you bounce off enemies mid-air for extra height, a hypercharged attack one-shots armored enemies, and collectible Ragebound arts deliver screen-clearing specials. Inscryption is one of those games you can't really explain without ruining, so I'll keep this tight. You wake up in a dark cabin, sitting across from a shadowy figure with glowing orange eyes named Leshy. He hands you a deck of cards and tells you to play. What starts as a roguelike deck builder, placing animal cards on a grid, sacrificing weaker ones to summon stronger ones, trying to tip a scale 5 points in your favor, quickly becomes something else entirely. The cabin is a room you can actually walk around in. There are puzzles locked in boxes, carved wooden animals, a cuckoo clock with secrets behind it, and rewards hidden in places you wouldn't expect. And then the game changes. I'm not going to tell you how, but the shifts are jarring, weird, surprising, and completely brilliant. It's a card game, an escape room, a horror story, and a meta-narrative about the nature of games themselves. Cyber Shadow. Set in a dystopian mecha city, you play as Shadow, the last surviving ninja of his clan. A scientist named Dr. Progen has flooded the city with synthetic lifeforms and robotic soldiers, corrupting everything. Shadow's master has been captured, the clan is gone, and you're the only one left. Each level sends you left to right through factories, towers, and flooded streets, fighting enemies that take deliberate, timed hits to bring down. You start with nothing but a sword and slowly unlock ninja arts, a shuriken, a fireball, a wall jump, plus chip attacks earned from landing last-second hits on bosses. The boss fights themselves are the highlight, multi-phase encounters that demand you understand patterns and execute them under pressure. Calling it a love letter to classic NES ninja games is accurate, but it stands completely on its own. Unsighted is an action RPG that plays with time in a way no other game does. You're Alma, an automaton who wakes up to find the supply of anima, the energy that gives androids consciousness, is running out. Every character in the game, NPC and boss alike, has a real-time countdown timer. If you don't reach certain characters in time, they lose their anima and become unsighted, mindless, and aggressive. The clock never stops, not even in menus or cutscenes. The top-down action combat is tight and fast. Dodge rolls, parrying, and a weapon crafting system where you mix blades and guns to create new tools on the fly. The city of Arcus is a dense Metroidvania map packed with secrets, and the writing is thoughtful about what it means to be alive when your time is measurable. First playthrough runs around 10 hours. Every NPC death you allow gets recorded and carries into your next run. Enter the Gungeon. A group of misfits descend into a living dungeon built entirely out of gun mythology to find the legendary gun that can kill the past and undo their greatest regrets. Every item, enemy, and hazard in the game is a gun reference. Bullets have feelings. Bosses have names like the Beholster and Amoconda. The gameplay is twin-stick shooter roguelite. You clear rooms using a constantly rotating arsenal of 200+ guns that drop throughout each run. Some fire fish, some fire eyes, some are just absurd. Rolling to dodge, flipping tables for cover, and using blanks to clear all bullets on screen are your tools for survival. Finding synergies between guns you pick up is half the fun. Getting good at the Gungeon takes real time and real effort, but every run teaches you something new. And the first time you actually see the ending, after everything the game has put you through to get there, it genuinely feels earned. Dredge is quiet, a lone fisherman who arrives at a remote archipelago, crashes his boat the first night, and wakes up in debt to a local mayor who offers to cover the repairs if you fish for him. So you fish. You sail around the islands, pull in the catch, sell it, upgrade your boat, and slowly learn the history of these scattered fishing towns. But something is wrong with this ocean. As night falls, the water changes. Strange shapes move below the surface. Fish aren't quite right. The locals don't talk about certain things. And your fisherman, who starts having visions he can't explain, begins uncovering the dark truth beneath each settlement. The core loop is fishing and boat management, wrapped in a mystery that unfolds slowly and deliberately, using the world and NPC conversations to build dread without ever being loud about it. The pacing is perfect. It's not scary in a jump scare way. Vampire Crawlers, the Turbo Wildcard from Vampire Survivors. You pick a character, enter a dungeon, and navigate floor by floor in classic blobber style. When you bump into enemies, combat kicks off as a turn-based card battle. Each card costs mana, and the key mechanic is chaining combos by playing cards in ascending mana cost order. Wild cards let you extend chains without breaking the count. You draft new cards as you level up during a run, building a deck that snowballs into ridiculous combinations by the end. The Vampire Survivors DNA is all over it. Familiar characters, familiar items, that same addictive one more run energy, and layers of unlocks that keep opening up the longer you play. It starts slow in the first hour, but gets genuinely deep and keeps rewarding new builds and strategies. If Vampire Survivors ever ate 25 hours of your life, this will do the same thing. Shogun Showdown looks like a simple pixel art game about a samurai. Then you play it and realize 3 hours have disappeared. The setup is pure. You're a samurai on a one-dimensional track of tiles, moving left or right, and enemies surround you on that same track. Every action, moving, queuing an attack, using an ability, costs 1 turn. After you act, enemies act. The genius is reading what enemies are about to do and positioning yourself so their attacks miss or hit each other. Your attacks queue up in sequence. You pick your moves, lock them in, and they fire in order. So you're planning several turns ahead while reading incoming enemy patterns simultaneously. It plays like a rhythm game crossed with a puzzle game crossed with a roguelike. Between fights, you pick upgrades for your attack tiles, reduce cooldowns, add chain effects, increase damage, and no 2 runs ever feel the same. Cat Quest III is the series at its best. Set in the Caribbean, a pirate archipelago full of cat puns and pirates, you play as a swashbuckling pirate cat searching for the legendary Northern Star treasure, while a spirit companion guides you through the seas. The 2.5D open world is one of the best designed in any indie game. Compact but dense, with islands to sail between, enemy ships to sink, dungeons to clear, and NPC quests tucked into every corner. Combat is real-time. You dodge enemy telegraphed attacks, fire guns from range, and swing your sword up close. Enemies signal with a flashing light, so the whole system is readable without ever being easy. There's a loot system where gear found in chests gets upgraded and equipped, and the upgrade curve keeps challenge and power growth naturally in sync. Local co-op is available too. Mio, Memories in Orbit. You play as Mio, a small robot who wakes up aboard the Vessel, a massive arc ship drifting through space, long abandoned and crawling with androids who have all given up on the mission. Her job is to reconnect the 5 AI caretakers who oversee the ship's sections and convince them to work together again before everything collapses. The story carries a real philosophical thread about what it means to have a soul and find hope when the future looks impossible. The gameplay is built around momentum. Mio has a grappling hair tendril, wall crawl ability, glide, and dash that all build off each other to create a genuinely aerial sense of flow through environments. The upgrade system is modular. You slot in mods to tweak offense, defense, or utility and swap them based on the challenge ahead, similar to Nier Automata's chip system. Grapple Dogs, Cosmic Canines is pure platforming joy. Pablo, the grapple hook swinging dog from the first game, is back with a bigger problem. The multiverse is under threat. He teams up with Luna, a sharp-tongued, gun-toting dog with a completely different playstyle, and together they swing and blast their way across 4 vibrant worlds to collect mysterious gems and save everything. The grappling hook is the core you latch onto any blue surface and swing through stages with momentum that feels genuinely delightful every single time. Luna adds twin-stick shooting, letting you grapple and fire simultaneously in ways that take adjustment but become deeply satisfying. Each world introduces new power-ups. One lets you turn into electricity and zip across solar panels. Another lets you hook into walls and grow climbable vines. The variety never stops. Sea of Stars is what happens when a developer genuinely loves classic JRPGs and sets out to make the best one they can. Made by Sabotage Studio, the team behind The Messenger, it's a turn-based RPG that functions as a prequel in that game's universe. 2 children named Valir and Zale have been trained their whole lives to channel the powers of the sun and moon and combine them into eclipse magic, the only force capable of destroying the monstrous creations of an evil alchemist called the Fleshmancer. Their best friend Garl, a warrior cook who wasn't chosen as a solstice warrior, comes along anyway because he refuses to be left behind. The turn-based combat uses timed button inputs for every attack and block. Landing them right increases damage and reduces incoming hits. You can break enemy locks with specific elements to shut down their most dangerous moves before they fire. Enter Magnolia. You play as Lilac, a young girl who wakes up in a ruined lab with only fragments of memory. The world has been devastated by a toxic blight that corrupted the land's synthetic servants called homunculi into mindless, violent machines. Lilac has the rare ability to purify them, freeing them from the blight and bonding them to her as allies. Each ally gives her a new combat ability assigned to face and shoulder buttons, building a system that starts with 1 basic slash and ends with rapid-fire pistols, homing energy orbs, dashing jump attacks, and more, all running simultaneously and individually upgradable. The combat has a Souls-like rhythm to it. Learn enemy patterns, find openings, punish correctly. But the difficulty never crosses into cruelty. The world is huge, the map is clear and helpful, fast travel is generous, and backtracking as you gain abilities feels natural. That's the list. Most games won't cost you much, and a few of them might just become your new favorite games. Drop a comment with what's already in your library or what I missed. Later.